This is Sai Phanindra from SQL School, and over 15 years of technical expertise, completely into Microsoft environment. I assure you complete practical training approach to our beautiful and bit lengthy Azure BI course. And what exactly we do here? Come on, let's get started now. Here it is on the screen. You're aware of SQL concepts and you're aware of MSBI concepts, the Microsoft Business Intelligence, integration, SSIS and SSAS more preferably as compared to SSRS. So you're aware of 1 and 2 or the ETL components in Power BI or Tableau prep. If in case you are from Tableau, you are aware of. Preferably again SSIS because there will be a lot of migrations. Then you can step into number 6, Azure BI. And we have two different type of classes for this Azure course. 80% of the classes would be common for everyone, and the remaining 20% it depends on your past experience. If you are aware of MSBI SSIS, you would have SSIS integrations with Azure, SSIS migrations with Data Factory, SSIS executions in Data Factory, and regular SQL Server data warehouse migrations to Azure Synapse, etc. If in case you are from Box to MSBI background. However, if you are from Power BI background, then integration of Power BI, report generation of Power BI with Synapse, report generation and data modeling options with Azure Analysis Services, and the same reporting concepts even for Tableau as well. Tableau reports from Synapse, Tableau reports from Azure Analysis Services. So basically, it depends on the background you are from. The implementation of the project work in our course would actually happen. So the classes would be common for everyone for 80% of the chapters. Remaining 20% based on the project and your background on the resume plan. If you are aware of both MSBI and Power BI, then we need to learn both MSBI integration with Azure BI and Power BI integrations with Azure BI. If in case you are from any other tool, SAP BI, Oracle BI or some other BI, then you would be using the Azure BI components, Data Factory for ETL, Synapse for data warehouse, and Azure Analysis Services for the purpose of big data analytics, data modeling, and OLAP. We say tabular mode OLAP database design. Integration with your existing BI components. So our Azure BI includes Data Factory, Synapse, and Azure Analysis Services. If in case, if you are looking for more, like Azure Databricks, another ETL component, extraction, transformation, loading, storing and analytics, Azure Cosmos, which is actually a document database that supports no SQL, codeless operations on big data storage, and data lake, which is mainly used for file storage and table storage operations within Azure, which is comparatively cheaper when you compare the cost with Synapse storage, Cosmos storage. Data lake storage cost is very less, and it has its own advantages when working with file systems and open source systems. So that comes under the Azure Data Engineer. This is mainly for the DP200 201 certification exams. We have this box number 7. Next. With this information, so you can choose for only core Azure BI or the complete Azure Data Engineer. It actually includes everything from here: Data Factory, Synapse, and Databricks, Cosmos, and Data Lake. So choice is yours based on your resume plan or the job requirements. Now what we actually do in Azure? Yes, let's see. Let's understand slowly, step by step. On my screen, what is cloud? A platform used to ensure 24/7 access or 24/7 secured access to your data. Any type of data, no exceptions. So this data environment is accessible using browser or sometimes even using the client tools also. What does it mean? Yes, for example, let's take one cloud or remote storage environment. Let's take one remote storage environment. Like for example, Azure Cloud. Microsoft has a cloud platform called Azure Cloud. Now let's take it. Yes, so here we go. Let's log into Azure Cloud and let me just make sure. Let me just provide my password and log in. So here we go. Just an example. So Azure is a virtual platform that can be used to store, host, securely store, and access literally any type of data. So we have servers, databases, or we have options to store something called virtual machines. We can configure virtual machines, or we can also have blockchain components mainly for banking environment. And we have machine learning, artificial intelligence, pre-coded algorithms. And this is our actual course analytics, wherein we see different components, and our course is more into these analytic concepts, which is contained in the analytics section contains the components pertaining to extraction of data, transformation of data, loading of data into different storage environments like analysis, data warehouse, data lake, etc. It's all about data. Any operations you perform on data can be implemented in Azure platform or any other cloud platform. So it's all about data operations. The benefits of cloud: no physical infrastructure is involved, so low maintenance overhead. No physical network, it's all virtual. For example, in next few classes we'll be practicing something like this. Say virtual network. We would be creating a virtual network, and on top of virtual network we define something called as virtual machines. These virtual networks and virtual machines are comparatively cheaper and at the same time easy to manage and easy to work with. Yes, all depends on the management components, costing components, and accessibility components. And no threat management. No threat management. And here, instead of something like antivirus, generally we use antivirus software for threat management activities in on-premise. Here we have a different approach altogether to protect our data from malicious software attacks. And auto implementation of service pack or upgrades, complex to very critical security scenario implementations, and any cloud, it supports the open source environments, like for example Spark. In our actual course we'll be taking Spark. We have something called Spark clusters for mainly for ETL components, Azure Data Factory and Azure Data Bricks. In these two components we require open source environments like Spark and NoSQL for Cosmos DB activities. And we have different providers, like we have Azure from Microsoft, we have GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and we have AWS, Amazon Web Services, and so on. Let's choose to go with the Azure Microsoft Cloud environment. And it is a remote hosting and data access platform, remote hosting and application access platform. Both applications and data can be accessible. For example, here you go. An application like SQL Server can be stored in Azure in whatever region you wanted. Well, if you get some more cost incurred in managing or maintaining SQL Server licenses, then in such a case you have a cheaper product, say for example storage account. It is basically used to store any type of data, videos, audios, images, any type of structured or unstructured data, anything can be stored in this account, storage account. This is literally a storage area, just a storage space we buy in Microsoft environment. And to extend this storage space, we have the data lake storage part of our course. So we have two different type of storage. One is regular storage, other one data lake storage for big data access. So either applications like SQL Server or direct storage like storage accounts and data lake are possible with the cloud platform Azure. Why to go for Microsoft Azure? It is cheaper. It's very cheaper compared to other database technologies. Like for example, it's $5 per database per month. That much low price is involved. The price tag is involved. At the same time, we get great benefits of storing or hosting the production data in cloud. If it is Azure cloud, we enjoy cheaper pricing, highly secure. There are different levels of security that we can implement. Easy integration with Python, Ruby, Node.js, Java, .NET, and even Spark. And it's mainly for application developers, the integration components, and suits Windows, Linux, or simply say non-Windows platforms. With these benefits, there are total of 3 different environments in Azure cloud. So we have SaaS, software as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, and IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Here we go. SaaS, software as a service. Then we have PaaS, platform as a service. And then finally the other one, IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Now what's the difference between these? Come on, here we go. SaaS, software as a service. It is 100% cloud. The software as a service, it is 100% cloud model. So here in SaaS, we need not install any software. We need not install any software. It's not required because everything would be completely in cloud. Everything would be completely cloud based. Yes, our implementation on ADF in our course, Azure Data Factory, that is completely SaaS. I mean, no installations required, and we can perform the ETL operations. We can configure and perform ETL activities. Next, apart from this, we have the next item. The components that implementation involves 80% cloud, 20% non-cloud. So here most of the operations are cloud based and few additional operations require say non-cloud activities. For example, Azure analysis services, it comes under PaaS model. Azure Data Factory, the initial component, first component, it comes under SaaS, ADF, which is similar to ETL components in on-premise like SSIS, and PaaS, platform as a service, 80% cloud and 20% non-cloud. Best example, here we have one tool called Visual Studio. Using Visual Studio, the SSDT, we design Azure analysis services. This one, Azure Analysis Services, Azure AS components or the data models we call in on-premise. Okay, locally we need to design. There is no option in Azure as of now to design the analysis components. We design them locally. It's on-premise. Once you design using this Azure Analysis Services, the design has to be tested, and for the production we require a server, right? To store all the data models we require a server. The server is in Azure, so that is Azure Analysis Services. Say Azure Analysis Services, something like this one. So the actual design would be in on-premise, whereas the storage environment for SSAS, basically SQL Server Analysis Services, is in Azure. So it is involving both on-premise design and cloud hosting. So in the first component, cloud design, cloud hosting. Okay. Whereas in the second item, on-premise design and cloud hosting, it is involving both. Only design is in on-premise or design is non-cloud. Once design is complete, validations, deployments or storage, security, everything in cloud. It's mostly cloud. Whereas the third one, IaaS, infrastructure as a service. This 50-50. 50% on-premise and 50% cloud. See there, friends? 50% on-premise and 50% cloud, both on-premise and cloud environments. So here we go. In this case, in case you are going for this IaaS, infrastructure as a service, the best example for this infrastructure as a service in our course, in our actual Azure environment, we'll come across something called as Azure Data Studio and Data Explorer components. For example, here we go. There are certain tools like Azure Data Studio, Storage Explorer. These components we need to install in our computers. We connect to cloud and we can perform any type of operations pertaining to data and storage. So the tool is in on-premise, right? And communicating with cloud environment, right? Here we go. That is called IaaS, infrastructure as a service. To make it more clear and simple, let me just take a small diagram. Let me take a small diagram on my screen now. So we got SaaS, PaaS, IaaS. SaaS, 100% cloud. In our course, we'll be taking an example of ADF, Azure Data Factory, and Azure Databricks completely into cloud. And the examples in Azure Analysis Services, they are into PaaS, platform as a service, wherein dev environment, on-premise, deployment, storage, production environment, security, access, end user access control would be from cloud. and IaaS 50-50. 50% you manage, remaining 50% cloud provider will manage. Like for example, here we go. Best example, go to the analytics in Azure and you see Data Explorer, or from your computer in next 2 to 3 classes, next 2 classes, we shall be having Storage Explorer and Data Studio tools from your computer. So those come under the examples for IaaS. So 3 different implementations are supported by the Azure environment. Now with this introduction, what we actually do in Azure? Yes, here you go. Once again, remember there are 3 different environments and all 3 are equally important for our course. We need to implement all 3. And here it is, what we do in Azure BI. So Azure BI is basically a suite of services, and applications for robust data transfer, big data transfer, and involved in data warehouse design and OLAP database design. We say data models, data modeling activities. So we perform ETL activities and design data warehouse, we call it Synapse. Perform ETL and design Azure analysis services, Azure analysis databases, OLAP. And we also get involved into Azure storage and data lake components. And for these components, we require or we use Azure Data Factory called ADF. Well, so here it is. It's mainly for the actual ETL and data delta or incremental loads. We use ADF. First level. In case you would like to learn more, then we have the next one, Azure. So for advanced ETL and in memory data analytics, we use Azure Databricks. And for big data storage and codeless, we say no SQL implementations, we use Cosmos, say Cosmos DB. If in case you wanted to, then you can upgrade your skill set with these 2 lines, Databricks and Cosmos. Again here, the data lake components come into picture. So data lake is common everywhere. It's basically the backend storage, just like your hard disk. It's required for Synapse, nothing but data warehouse, OLAP, and just like SSIS, we have ADF, first level, and you can also include in your course even Databricks and Cosmos DB. With this information, our actual plan, the course plan, At the basic level, it would be in this way. We take any type of data source. You take any type of data source, our actual workflow in our course. We use ADF, Azure Data Factory, and load the data into warehouse. We design the warehouse and load the data. This would be our actual job role, or actual examples next. And then eventually load the warehouse data into OLAP for reporting. Each of them have their own advantages. We can generate reports out of regular OLTP data for active or live reporting, warehouse for historical reporting, or analysis services with an advantage of pre-calculated values, pre-calculated aggregations for faster reporting of huge data, generally in terabytes. Yes, OLTP would be in few gigs, warehouse would be in GB to TB, terabytes, whereas analysis services database are always in terabytes. It's all about the volume of data that we are talking about. And here we need to learn something called Power Query in both the red box and the yellow box, ADF and Azure Analysis, Azure Data Factory and Azure Analysis. These two support a common platform called Power Query, which is basically the same Power Query we use in Excel, to be taken here for ETL components. With this information, now on my screen our actual lab plan. This document to be sent to you on email anyway. Please stay tuned. So from our next class, we need to start our practice slowly, step by step. We need to understand about the lab configurations, installation of 4 different components, 1 server and 3 tools, and deployment of an SQL server to store our Synapse database. And we have additional ETL components, the red boxes here, Data Factory and Databricks, storage Cosmos, and additional storage Blob and Data Lake storage. Azure environment involves huge number of components. I'm listing here what is required for our course, either Azure BI or Azure Data Engineer. And to start with, you would first install SQL Server, either 2017 or 2019. In our next class, we'll start working with the lab configurations. And from there, after we install SQL Server, then we need to slowly configure the remaining components one by one. So what we actually do here is, number 1, designing and loading data for Synapse data warehouse, perform ETL activities, extraction, transformation, loading activities with ADF and Azure Databricks, storage and analytics with Cosmos. And you have 2 different choices that you can choose any one of them. Just once again, back to my course plan, here it is. You can go for only the Azure BI, the course that you have registered for as of now. That includes Data Factory, Synapse and Analysis. Or go on to the next level, all these above plus additionally Databricks, Cosmos and Data Lake. So you can choose only 6 or 6 and 7. In fact, 6 is included inside 7. the complete Azure Data Engineer. And the course is mainly planned as per the DP 200-201 certification pattern that includes all these components in our course for the Azure Data Engineer. Azure BI includes Synapse and Data Factory with the required data lake storage. This highlighted part is Azure BI. Azure Data Engineer is the complete course for both 200 and 201 certifications. And with this information, let me show you the complete course curriculum as well. The complete course curriculum, like what actually we are going to discuss in our course. Yes, coming to the entire course curriculum for the end-to-end implementations with Azure environment. Yes, we have basically 3 different modules. Let me take it from there. Yes, on my screen now. Azure Data Factory, and in fact it also includes the Synapse for Azure BI and additional 2 modules for the complete course for Azure Data Engineer. In ADF, we'll be understanding the basics of Azure, configurations with Synapse called the data warehouse. Then we need to understand about data lake storage and migration activities from on-premise and data loads ETL activities with ADF and Azure SQL database to Azure Synapse environment. And we need to understand about on-premise, means non-cloud environment to cloud environment data loads, incremental load activities, 2 different levels of incremental loads, and data flows. We have something called data flow for ETL, and we have something called data wrangling, which is advanced data flow with Power Query operations in Azure, tuning options in Synapse environment, analytics, Synapse analytics, and Synapse management activities and security. 12 chapters for ADF or Azure BI course. In case you are looking for the complete data engineer, additionally have 20 more chapters, 10 for Databricks, 10 for Cosmos. Databricks mainly for ETL that works on open source called Spark, internally built with Scala. So we need to get the codeless components in Azure with the complete architecture. We have something called jobs. In ADF we have pipelines. In ADF we call pipelines. In Azure Databricks we call jobs. Different type of jobs, including Python and Spark. We say PySpark jobs. Virtual networks with a complete architecture and blob storage. And we have something else called Azure Databricks file system, the file system deployments, integration with Azure Synapse and Azure Databricks, Azure SQL Server and Azure Databricks, both integrations. And we have something called streaming activities, reporting activities, and incremental loads in Databricks, and integrating Databricks with Data Factory. Looking back, integration components. And same way we have Cosmos. So here it's more into data storage, We'll take right from the configurations to data imports and migrations, queries with SQL and without SQL, we say no SQL, and grab data. Here we come across something called notebooks. In ADF, we have something called pipelines, whereas here in Azure Databricks we have jobs, and here it is something called notebooks. We'll be understanding how to create and how to work with the notebooks, PowerShell components for ETL and configurations, monitoring, tuning, and finally integrations with Azure Databricks, Cosmos with Databricks integrations, and visualizations. This complete document or the complete information to be provided to you on email. Make sure you have few specific prerequisites before we start off with our course. Back. So either only Azure Data Factory with Synapse and analysis, or the complete course for your DP 200 201 certification. We require box 1 SQL TSQL. Any SQL is okay, but good to have some basics on SQL Server also. Especially for this one. Our Synapse, one of the more core component in our course, sits inside SQL Server. I repeat, once we get SQL Server in Azure, it is inside SQL Server that we can configure the Synapse, or formerly the data warehouse. Let's wait. Here it is, Synapse SQL pool or the data warehouse. It is inside SQL Server, sitting beside an SQL database. It is basically an SQL database and Synapse, they always sit side by side. So make sure we have some revised knowledge on SQL and TSQL. Any SQL is okay, but prefer to go for this. And then you can plan for the course, either 6 or 7. You take 7, you get 6 inside it automatically. With this information, we'll stop for now. We understood that Azure BI is more into ETL, right? Plus data warehouse analysis. The end-to-end plan on my screen. And this is your Azure BI right side. Traditional MS BI, SAP BI, or OBI, Oracle BI. They are involved in design of warehouse and OLAP. Our Azure BI is more into Azure warehouse, Synapse, and Azure analysis services, and eventually getting into reporting environment. And so here you go. With all this information, the complete synopsis on what we actually learned today. Number 1, we understood what is Azure, the Microsoft Cloud Platform, and we have 3 implementations, that is software as a service, and platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. We'll be taking the examples one by one in our actual classes. Then item number 3, so this is actually what is cloud. 3 implementations or cloud implementations. Then we understood what is Azure, and then we understood about Why to go for Azure or the advantages of Azure. Number 5, the Azure Data Engineer components. Coming to the Azure Data Engineer components, there are different components in Azure Data Engineer, and to make it clear and simple, what we actually do, yes, here it is. To make it clear and simple, on my screen now, just to save time, I got the data formatted, ready. Involved in data storage, data modeling, data ingestion activities, and reporting. 4 major components: Synapse, Cosmos, Data Factory, and Databricks. I'll just put this way. Yes, so here it is. The first 2 are the main components for Azure BI. All components put together for Azure Data Engineer. So total 7 weeks. Out of these 7 weeks, 3 weeks for Azure BI and remaining 4 weeks for Cosmos and Databricks, including stream analytics. So total 7 weeks. And your choice, you may go for either regular, we have regular schedules now, or weekends, or on-demand video. It's up to you. You can choose at your comfort. And understanding what exactly the Azure BI, first 2, or Data Engineer, all 4 components. The prerequisites for this course. Yes, as I was mentioning few minutes back, it is good to have prior knowledge of SQL Server, and apart from that, prior knowledge of SQL Server, which knowledge you require on my screen. Just select statement, constraints, joins, and basics of procedure should be fine to understand about the implementation process, dynamic data loads, parameters, filters, alerts, and other components. These should be fine. Keeping in mind our actual complete 100% practical example sessions, these basics should be fine. And we need to install total of 7 components. Total of 7 different components we need to install. Like for example, I was showing you a few minutes back, like Data Studio, Storage Explorer. Same way we have something called as integration runtime and gateways, etc. 7 different components to be installed. So we need Windows 8 or higher operating system. If you have Windows Server, it's fine. Otherwise, 8 or higher OS is okay. 8, 8.1 or 10, any edition. And if not, you can also arrange a virtual machine. If in case any other operating system, then you may need to use a virtual machine. So this is the complete synopsis on what we actually understood today. And Synapse is mainly data warehouse. And next, Data Factory is mainly for ETL activities, just to get more insight into our synopsis. This is more into NoSQL storage. And Databricks is again into ETL, analytics. Both. Well, with this complete information, we'll stop for now and make sure you have a credit card with your name or any other's name, your friend's account, friend's credit card or your credit card, your family member's credit card, anything is fine. We need it to activate the free trial for our actual Azure classes. Free trial should be fine to practice all our classes. I mean, whatever chapters I was showing you earlier, the complete curriculum we can easily practice with a free trial. Yes, and same plan either for regular or weekend or video mode of training. It's one and the same plan, same example, same notes. Well, with this information, we'll stop for now, and do let us know in case of any clarifications or questions.